Sridharji, can I start? Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om. Can you all hear me well? Oh, you can hear? Okay. We'll chant together from 21st verse, 3rd chapter. Yadyadacharati shreshthah tattadevetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptamavaptavyam varta eva cha karmani yadi hyaham navarteyam jatu karmanyatandritah mama vartmanu vartante manushyaah partha sarvashah utsideyurime lokaha nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami maaf prajah saktah karmanya vidvamsah yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvans tatha saktah chikirshur loka sangraham. The purpose of chanting these verses in the beginning is that our style of studying is that we look at every word and try to understand what is the import of every word, what is Bhagavan trying to tell us in every word of every shloka. So when we do Parayanam, some of the recap happens while doing the Parayanam itself. Some ideas come, some topics which we discussed earlier, they become clearer. So Bhagavan had taken up the topic of Loka Sangraha. He gave almost 8 to 10 reasons to Arjuna why he should not drop karma. But now, in and through Loka Sangraha, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, this life is not only for somehow or the other going through it. We can positively contribute, we can positively influence also the society around us. That is the topic of Loka Sangraha. Meaning how to set the right example. Right? One mode of going through life is defensive mode. Different situations come, different experiences come. At that time, we should not get bowled out. We have in cricket, If there is a tough bowler and the pitch is difficult, what do? Only defense. You don't have to show any of your batting skills at that time. But there is a phase once you're well settled. After that, little bit more, you can explore your strokes, whatever you want to show. So Bhagwan is in that phase right now. Loka Sangraha cannot happen unless we are settled to some extent in karma. Right? We cannot do Loka Sangraha or think in this way that I am setting an example unless we settle down in karma, at least to some extent. If somebody has done that, Bhagwan says there is one level above now where it can be in a positive way. It can influence, the society. It can influence the surrounding in which you are placed. Okay, that is another way to look at Loka Sangraha. But we had seen several pointers that Loka Sangraha is never the objective. Objective is to imbibe this knowledge in our own life. As a result of that, Loka Sangraha, whether it happens or not, is up to Bhagavan. We can never start any karma with this intention of doing Loka Sangraha. Why do I say this? Because Bhagavan says Loka Sangraha is karma phala. Karma phala, we have no adhikara, we have no right in it. Okay, so that is up to Bhagavan, how he ensures Loka Sangraha. Now Bhagavan is taking another topic. Okay, this is for two categories. One is jnanis, who have understood this truth, who are reveling in this truth. Bhagavan is giving some guidance to Vidwan. And he says, after knowledge, how should you live in this world? Okay, that is the main audience over here. But if you want to take a secondary audience, it means sadhaka also. Means after we hear Vedanta, how should we live amidst people? Either it is our family or at work, some group will be part of. And we'll be, whether we like it or not, we'll be exposed to more ideas, some very different perspectives which we didn't know before. Having received those perspectives, how should we live in this world? Now that is Bhagwan's topic. You see what is his advice? 26th verse. Na buddhi bhedam janayet, na buddhi bhedam janayet, ajnanam karma sanginam, ajnanam karma sanginam, joshayet sarva karmani, joshayet sarva karmani, vidwan yuktas samacharan, vidwan yuktas samacharan. First advice of Bhagwan is na buddhi bhedam janayet. Every word is important here. Na buddhi bhedam janayet. Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, bhedam means chalanam. And don't shake their convictions right away. Whose convictions? He says ajnanam. Those who haven't received this new perspective about akarta, abhokta, atma. Our true nature is we are not a doer, not an enjoyer. Those who think about themselves as doer, as enjoyer, and it's very strong. So Bhagwan says, don't suddenly go and shake their conviction. Na buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Karma sanginam means one who is very, very hardworking. This shloka doesn't apply to somebody who is tamasic. This person has risen up from tamas, but now he is so caught up in action. Karma sanginam. Bhagwan says, don't suddenly shake their conviction. Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. So what is their buddhi? You see, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji clarifies. Maya idam kartavyam bhoktavyam cha asya karmanah phalam iti. Maya idam kartavyam. And that person says, I have some desires, some things I want in life. Unless I get it, I will not be happy. Unless I get that thing, I will not be happy. What is the method to get that thing? It's a work hard. And that person is putting forth effort, he is working hard to get that thing. That is karma sangi. He is not tamasic, he is hardworking. Now, when we hear satsang, when we do Shravanamrit, what is the thought that we get to hear? One should not have all these desires. One should not entertain too many worldly desires. So Bhagavan says that is for us. That teaching is for us. If somebody has this mindset very well rooted, don't suddenly shake it. Na buddhi bhedam janayet. Another meaning of this is, without giving something higher to hold on to, don't remove the support which is already there. What is the support? Hard work, karma. Karma is a technical word, but if you want a more precise word, it is hard work. Hard work is karma only, right? So that support, if somebody is taking away without giving higher support of devotion to Bhagavan or some karma yoga siddhanta, without actually enabling them to hold on to the higher, if we just remove the lower, that is what Bhagavan is saying, don't do that. Okay. Many a times our concerns are very immediate. Life, throws so many challenges at us that something tomorrow is bothering me, something right now is bothering me. In particular, when we talk to, teenagers or children, right? And we are discussing Bhagavad Gita. Now their concern is, I have a test tomorrow, and I'm stressed out about it. I'm having some other thing which is bothering me right now. And at that time, if the advice becomes of absolute Brahman, so that is going to create some bheda. And this question also comes, right, many a times. Oh, if everything is Brahman, why should I study? Right? Everything is mithya. Why should I study? So Bhagavan says it's a very slow unfoldment. It is more about maturing from within. So don't expect quick results. Don't suddenly, shake somebody in their conviction. Okay, all this is reflection about which word? Buddhi bheda. Buddhi bheda for a sadhaka. But after we hear Vedanta, after we get this knowledge, how should we live in this world? And many a times we feel Vedanta brings more conflicts in our life. Some do feel it, either at individual level or at family level. If everybody is sadhaka, it becomes easier. But if, let us say, only one person is sadhaka and others are not fully into this path yet, then this verse we should remember. Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. What we have understood, through that knowledge, our life should become sweeter. And if we see somebody who is, let us say, very dependent on karma. Karma sanginam means that they feel their sukham depends on some object, some experience, or something for which they are seeking support of karma. If we see somebody like that, we should be able to appreciate their standpoint. Why? Because we are also there. As sadhakas, we are also in the same boat. Now, this verse for Vidwan, they have gone through that phase. Right? They have come out of it. And that is the greatness of Mahatmas. They know all sadhakas are on the same path, and with that they are able to have this kind of bhava. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sangina. There is one nyaya which is called as pada vinyasa nyaya. In Sanskritam, there are different nyayas. Nyaya means maxims. Pada vinyasa means what? Unless you have kept your second foot, you cannot take your first foot up. So they say our spiritual journey is like that. Unless we have held on to karma yoga, we cannot let go of karma. Unless we have held on to shravanam, we cannot let go of other things where I am positively occupied. Unless I have held on to nididhyasanam, withdrawing from other things is not good. Okay, so pada vinyasa nyaya, systematic unfoldment in our understanding. Okay, so main thing is how to live in this world having gained this knowledge. Okay. Joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yukta samacharan. Joshayet means what? That sadhaka or jnani should be living amidst people, amidst the same group, and encouraging all of them. Joshayet word means just that, encouraging all of them, but himself not getting affected. Vidwan yuktaha sama acharan. Himself not getting tossed up and down. That sadhaka or jnani should live and then himself practice karma yoga. You say that word samacharan. Samacharan means not taking any sides. Sama achara. Sama achara means not taking any strong sides. Bhagavan says like that, live in this world. Not easy, huh? Because what that demands is no raga dvesha. The moment raga comes, it will take one side. It will go towards that side. Moment dvesha comes, it will go away from that side. It's a very deep word. Vidwan yuktaha samacharan. One who is very well integrated and performs his actions. Bhagavan says we don't have to separately do anything else. Vidwan yuktaha samacharan. Now one question comes in this verse, and I have seen this verse getting quoted in some other places also. Is Bhagavan saying, don't share this knowledge? Bhagavan is saying, na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Is he meaning that don't share this knowledge with anybody? Why? Because you are shaking their understanding. The moment you say, do karma yoga, you are shaking somebody's understanding. Are you not supposed to share this knowledge? What Bhagavan says, if that was the case, right? Bhagavan would not have continued after this. Why 15 more chapters? Right? Na buddhi vedam janayet, he said, if it is in their destiny to gain this knowledge, let it come. Why should I teach? And interestingly, I saw this same verse quoted somewhere. It was a book on Mahabharata. And this preface of that book said, in today's world, why should we study Vedanta? And he said, because our concerns are mainly about dharma. And Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. So why should you study Vedanta? We should not apply it in that sense. Bhagavan is not saying, don't study Vedanta. Why would Shankaracharya compose Bhaja Govindam then? Is Bhaja Govindam buddhi veda or not? But we should appreciate the way in which Bhagavan is doing it. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, first he calls us Muda, but then he calls us Bhrata. Oh brother, there are some different ways of thinking. Means lot of patience is there, lot of love is there in that teaching. In that way, Bhagavan says, if you have to share this knowledge, share it. And look at Bhagavan Krishna only. 15 chapters he taught after this chapter. What did he say at the end? Yatha ichchasi tata kuru. Arjuna, my job was to give a perspective. I'm not insisting that you should take my advice. Sometimes that happens, right? When we give some advice, we expect that person to implement it. In particular, if it is near and dear ones. I'm telling you, if you don't do this, things will not work out. So there we should remember Bhagavan Krishna's advice. So nicely explained everything. And even if Arjuna asks one question, Bhagavan doesn't give a direct answer. In any place, you see, for that matter, Bhagavan doesn't say, I know all answers and you ask me questions. He says, I'll give you perspectives. And simple question, he'll go on a very tangential thing, describe so many things. It's not tangential actually. What he is doing is giving a very holistic perspective and then telling to Arjuna, you decide. So all of that is how to communicate this knowledge. Not creating buddhi beda, not shaking somebody's conviction without giving them something higher to hold on to. Okay. Joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yuktah samacharan. Now, how does this ajnani work? Okay. Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam was said, right? Who is a karma sangi? That definition is given in 27th verse. Prakrute kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashah ahamkara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. This question should come to a sadhaka. In Vedanta, you keep saying you are not karta, you are not karta. If I am not karta, then who is karta? Somebody should be karta, right? Actions are happening, everything is going on. So who is karta according to Vedanta? So Bhagavan says, Prakrutehe kriyamanani gunaihi sarvashah karmani kriyante. Prakrutehe kriyamanani gunaihi. In these different gunas of Prakriti, they are the ones who are doing all these karmas. Okay. What are the gunas of Prakriti? It's Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now, the discussion we had about Srishti Prakriya, all of that will be very helpful. In Srishti Prakriya, what do we say? There is Chaitanya and then there is Trigunatmika Maya. From that Maya, 5 elements came out. From those 5 elements, mind came, Sattvic aspect. And then from Rajasic aspect, Pranas came. And all organs of actions, they came. Right? And from Tamasic aspect, all these inert world, which is there, that came. And now Bhagavan is saying, Prakrutehi kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashah kriyante. Through this Prakriti, or through this Prakriti and its guna, or Prakriti itself is 3 gunas, from that whatever has emerged, through that only all our karmas are happening. But what is the irony? In that Prakriti, which is Jada, which is inert, there is this one entity which comes and says, I am this. What is that entity? Ahamkara. Ahamkara, that is this entity which comes and says, this Prakriti itself is me. That's why Bhagavan says, Ahamkara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. The whole purpose of discussing creation is to know that this body is part of creation. This mind is part of creation. Sense organs are part of creation. Now, with that understanding, if Jnani is able to look at this mind as Prakriti, look at this physical body as Prakriti, as matter. So Bhagavan says that is a sign of knowledge. Next verse he'll point out. But what is Ajnani's condition? When he says I, that I lands in physical body. If he has thought little more, it lands in mind. And if somebody challenges my mind, we don't like it. Challenging mind means challenging opinions. Right? If somebody, challenges any of those things where I have aham buddhi, that is where, the identification expresses. That is this line, Ahamkara means not somebody else. Because this word Ahamkara also, it looks like a very technical, topic. Ahamkara is whatever titles, we have taken for ourselves. I remember one incident when Mahatma Ji was sharing. This was on the banks of Gangaji. There were some Mahatmas sitting. And one Mahatma, he was, saying that in Gangaji, just this morning, I tore my degree certificate and I offered it in Gangaji. My engineering degree certificate, I just tore it, given up everything. And there was another Mahatma sitting next to him. Whenever we say such statements, right, Bhagavan makes sure that we get challenged. He sends the right people to ask some things which will push us. So another person was sitting there. He said, "You had an engineering degree also?" To that Mahatma. And to this, he flared up so much. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't have engineering degree? I am the one who studied here, in so many places. And then I tore everything and then I put it in Gangaji. There was another elderly Mahatma Ji sitting. He said, "You are not torn anything." That, and also that statement is erroneous that you were an engineer. Right now also you are. Why? Because that thought is sitting inside. That title is sitting inside. So external giving up of something doesn't actually mean anything. Right? So it's all in our thinking, in our understanding. What is our definition of I? When I say aham, when I say I, where does it land? If it lands in physical body, that is erroneous. If it lands in mind, that is also erroneous. If it is landing there, Bhagavan is categorizing them in ajnana. True I should always land in Chaitanya, pure consciousness. Okay. And this Ahamkara, its favorite job is to claim things. Whatever doesn't belong to it, still it will go and claim. Gurudev used to tell one story when it came to this verse. You must have heard that story, but you can listen to it again. He said one person was going in a train. Very nicely he goes and sits. And one lady walks with a briefcase. Nice briefcase is there. She goes inside and sits. Now this person feels it's his responsibility, to ask where she has come from, or what is, where she's going and everything. And like that, they become friends. Suddenly in one station, that lady gets down and goes away. But bag is there inside. Now this person could have said quietly, But later when he has to get down, some police, they come and they ask, whose bag is this? This person says, oh, this bag, it is mine. He didn't even know that person. He didn't even know what was in the bag. He said, "This bag is mine." And then say, "Come with me." So they take him, and then they open that bag, and so many things were inside. Something which was stolen from somewhere, something which was taken away from somewhere. Everything was in that bag. Gurudev used to say, our Ahamkara is like that. What doesn't belong to us, what was lying there nicely, we will go and claim it. I did it, or this is me doing it. But to go from strong karta to akarta is difficult. Right? So instead of saying that second line, right, Ahamkara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate, the mellower way is karta vayam iti manyate. Vayam means what? Instead of I, it is we. Right? I did not do it, we did it. And that is true. It's a matter of fact. Right? No matter which project we take, one person cannot do everything. Right? So this is that in-between step where the sadhaka is growing in that aham. Aham otherwise lands only in ahankara, that he has expanded it to vayam. Vayam means group of people who have contributed. You will see this in Janak Maharaj's Mithila Nagari. Right? Whenever he has to say who accomplished the work, he will say it is with all of our grace, this work was accomplished. Okay. So that is the perspective we should take from here. Ahamkara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. Now, what is Jnani's condition? How does Jnani look at things? The previous one was Ajnani. 27th verse was Ajnani. What was the main criteria there? Whenever this Ajnani says I, that I lands in something of this Prakriti only. So what is that Prakriti part? We never say outside things to be I, right? Although this is watch, I never say I am this watch. What do I say? This is my watch. So wherever I cannot have aham buddhi, there I have mama buddhi. Aham can only extend until this physical body. But Bhagavan says even that physical body, even that mind, all of it is part of Prakriti. It should not land in aham. Or aham should not land in Prakriti. Okay. Now, how does Jnani look at it? So that is this verse, 28th verse, very famous verse. Tattva vittu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Now, after having described Ajnani, Bhagavan is describing Jnani. What is Jnani's name over here? Tattvavit. One who knows that Tattva. But over here, Tattva doesn't refer to Chaitanya Tattva. Tattva doesn't refer to Chaitanya Tattva. Tattva refers to one who knows the distinction of guna and karma. Tattvavittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayo. One who knows that whatever three gunas are there, they belong to Prakriti, and whatever karma is happening because of those gunas, they also belong to Prakriti. Guna karma vibhagayoho, between them, he has very clear knowledge that what is the tattva of this karma and what is the tattva of guna. So with that, one who is doing his actions, that person is called as tattvavit. Guna karma vibhagayoho yaha janati saha tattvavit. And how does he interact in this world? Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Ajnani thought I am the karta, right? I am the doer. Whereas Tattvavid says gunas are working with gunas, or gunas are interacting with gunas. What is the first guna referring to over here? Gunaha guneshu vartante is said, right? What is the first guna? Indriyas. All Sangrata. Starting from body, mind, indriyas, everything, whichever falls in this, small I. Gurudev used to call it as small I and big I. Right? Big I is Chaitanya, small I is Ahamkara and all this assemblage. Body, mind, intellect. That is first gunaha. And what is guneshu? Vishayeshu. All other objects which are there, they are also results of gunas. If you have to draw a boundary, right? For Ajnani, the boundary of Aham is this body. Right? Ajnani feels outside of this body is world, and I begins from this physical body. Whereas for Jnani, I begins and ends in Atma. And world begins from this Ahankara. Or mind, you say. From mind, physical body, and this world outside, that boundary he is very clearly able to demarcate. Okay, so that is this gunaha guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Having understood this, he doesn't get affected, he doesn't get colored by the experiences of this world. This idea will keep coming back in Bhagavad Gita. What is that idea? Asangata. What is Asangata? Asangata means ability to let go, not to get stuck by anything, to remain nirlipta. One Mahatmaji would say, it is like, nirlep tawa. You have the non-stick pan, right? Nothing gets stuck to it. Like that, our mind should become, where it doesn't hold on to things for too long. Right? So even Asangata, there is a gradation. Right? We cannot directly become Asanga in its absolute sense. So the first step of being Asanga is when we have some different taste, some higher taste we have developed. Then towards the lower, we can become little Asanga. Right? If there is taste for satsang, then our taste for other things during that time, haven't we become Asanga towards that? Let us say somebody has taste for music, right? And if there is practice, they will become Asanga towards watching TV, watching other things. So something more subtler has to be there, without which Asangata cannot come. That is the most simple understanding of Asangata. And what is the result of it? The result of it is we have an available mind. That mind which is capable of being invested in something which we can use it for whatever we want to do it. Either it is ideally spiritual, if not spiritual, at least secular also. Some other things that we want to use our mind for. Otherwise, it's always busy. This mind in those things which we are not interested in. So Bhagwan again and again repeats in Bhagavad Gita, it's a great art. Great art regarding what? Regarding making this mind asanga. At sadhana level. And if somebody has the coating of devotion, that tawa has a coating, right? Bhagwan says that coating is of devotion, it will help us become asanga in our vyavahara. Transactionally, if somebody can hold on to Bhagwan, that devotee can let go of things very easily. Right? Devotee title comes with a lot of responsibility. We cannot say we are devotees also, at the same time we hold on to things also. You know why? Because behind every experience, devotee sees Bhagavan. Behind good experiences, he sees Bhagavan, so doesn't get attached. Right? Otherwise, if the attention is on just the Nama Rupa, the person or the object, it doesn't take much time. But devotee is the one who can see Bhagavan in those places which are giving Sukham. So there he remains Asanga. And what is the other side? Wherever there is unpleasant experience, Pratikulam Vedaniyam Dukkham. What we did not want, that experience came about. There also this devotee sees Bhagavan. Without this, try to think of some other way to become Asanga. Try to think of some other way. How one can be Asanga means not getting affected by situations. Very difficult to find anything else. All other motivations are okay. But what becomes more difficult is these different experiences. Right? So, guna guneshu vartante, Bhagavan just made a casual statement. Iti matva na sajjate. But Bhagavan, that doesn't happen in our life. Because Bhagavan is saying this is the second step. This is the absolute Asangata, which comes through knowledge. The sadhana step of Asangata or staying unaffected by experiences is through devotion. By knowing that my Bhagavan alone is there behind every experience, there is no reason to get attached. There is no reason to go away also. This is one level of Asangata. And after that, if somebody does thorough Shravanam, what is the result of it? The result of it is this clear knowledge that I am that Chaitanya whose Swarupa is Asanga. Right? Chaitanya Swarupa is to remain Asanga no matter how many times it appears that it is having Sangha. Still it is ever Asanga. Sangha means what? Union. Sangha means getting affected. So what does consciousness get affected by? Or appears to be affected by? Thoughts. Right? Vritti, that is the first thing which it seems to be affected by. So there this clear knowledge is there. No matter which thought comes, no matter which thought is appearing, I as this Chaitanya am unaffected by this thought. That is the meaning of this line. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Ahamkara, mind, body, senses, all belong to Prakriti. And they are interacting with this world which also belongs to Prakriti. And this jnani is rooted in that Chaitanya which is ever Asanga. What is the example in Vedanta? Different colors getting thrown on that colorless crystal. If it's blue color, blue flower is kept, crystal doesn't become blue. If it is red, crystal doesn't become red. But because this jnani has done sadhana, even the colors are beautiful. Right? Guna guneshu vartante, to say that this jnani has increased amount of sattva guna. So in the mind there are Shivananda Laharis. There are beautiful thoughts. On the strength of that we can, abide in this knowledge. Okay, so both aspects are important. One aspect is having sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna being under the control of sattva guna. But what is the main knowledge in Vedanta? Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Prakriti's gunas are interacting with gunas of Prakriti. As this Chaitanya, I am unaffected. And this Asangata cannot come unless we learn to remain Asanga in Vyavahara. Asanga in Vyavahara means what? Not allowing experiences to throw long-lasting colors. You can make it mellower. Not throwing colors at all is very difficult. Right? If somebody says something that you don't like, how do you say that you cannot remain or you should remain Asanga? It's not possible. But at least that color should not stay for too long. That sadhana we can do, right? And the support over there is devotion. Unless we see our Ishta Devata, don't even say unless I see Bhagavan, unless I see Ishvara. All these are technical terms. It should become more closer. If our Ishta Devata is Bhagavan Krishna, if our Ishta Devata is Bhagavan Shiva, Bhagavan Rama, I see my Bhagavan Rama in every person. On the strength of that, remain Asanga. This topic, it will come in several places, but you have to appreciate what is the depth of it. Even in other texts, this topic will be taken up. There is Panchadashi, Nataka Deepa. So Vidyananda Swamiji says, let this Nataka happen. Ahamkara is the Prabhu. Sakshi is the illuminator. Ahamkara comes and sits as the king. And this Buddhi is there, which is doing the dance. And there are people holding talam. Different sense organs are there. Mind is there. Everything is doing different play. Can we just watch this play? But because we have no choice but to watch it, it should be, either a humorous play or a play with meaning. Okay, that is part of sadhana. Don't have a horror movie. Okay, whatever you are watching, that play should be good. Mind should be beautiful. With that, we can witness this mind. 29th verse, we can just chant. Prakruter guna sammudhaha, prakruter guna sammudhaha, sajjante guna karmasu, tana krutsna vido mandan, krutsna vinna vichalayet. Bhagavan says this Prakriti or Maya is very difficult to cross over. What it does, Prakrutehe guna sammudaha guna karmasu sajjante. It takes everybody by storm. It presents this world in such a different way than what it really is. Right? What we otherwise call in Vedanta is Shobhana Buddhi. There where there is no joy, there it will project joy. And then it will prompt us to get engaged, to get that object or to get joy from this world outside. When we do that, our name becomes this. Prakrutehe guna sammudaha guna karmasu sajjante. Tan akrishna vido mandan krishna with na vichalayet. Same topic, Bhagavan is continuing. Somebody who has gotten a holistic picture. Krishna with means one who has gotten a holistic picture. Akritsnavit means one who knows only part. So in Vedanta, there is, a systematic way of teaching. Right? You start from a point and slowly build concepts from Karma Yoga to Karma Yoga, from Karma Yoga to Shravanam, from Shravanam to Mananam, Mananam to Nididhyasanam. And once we have understood the entire process, so then we'll be able to fit everything in the right place. We'll not look down upon karma. we will not criticize karma. Even sometimes rituals and other things, those who tend to study Vedanta, right, there is a chance that we look down upon all those practices. Bhagavan says one who has understood it thoroughly will never do that. So Kritsnavit over here means one who has a holistic picture. He knows precisely what is meant for what purpose. If karma is said, it is for chitta shuddhi, it is for beautifying this mind, it is not directly going to give moksha. Right? So that clarity is there. But that doesn't mean he shakes somebody who is still on the path. Half knowledge is very dangerous. That is what Bhagavan is saying here. Tan akritsna vidah mandan kritsnavit na vichalayet. Those who have understood this thoroughly, means it is our responsibility to understand things thoroughly, and after that make sure that we guide but not shake somebody. Okay. Tahana kritsna vido mandan kritsnavit na vichalayet. Good. I think we'll reflect more on this. On the same topic, almost Bhagavan is wrapping up now. Later on, there are some other thoughts. Arjuna asks a question and then Bhagavan elaborates it more. But all these are different facets of Karma Yoga. One part was how should we implement Karma Yoga. And now Bhagavan is talking about not only practice, but also implement it. Implement, how you say, inspire through that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.